Republican and vice presidential nominee and Donald Trump's running mate, Vance, has been in a bit of hot water ahead of the American election. This is over comments he made about women who aren't mothers. Now, in a newly resurfaced video, he said that professional women who prioritise their careers over having children choose a path to misery. Those were his words, Janet. Choose a path to misery. I mean, it's quite shocking. This is only, they say it's resurfaced. It's not like it's way
But he's
back.
made plenty of other comments.
2021, I think.
Since Kamala Harris got the Democratic nomination, he's attacked childless women as if they're unpatriotic. He's talked about women who choose not to have children as somehow letting the country down. He's singled out women who are career women as women who've making bad choices for America. And, of course, what he's not taking into account is women who can't have children but desperately want children. And as it happens, Kamala Harris is stepmother to her husband's children, 2 children by her first marriage. But what he seems to forget in America is that women not only make up 50% of the electorate, but of the undecided women who haven't decided which way to vote yet in this election will actually decide it because it is so close. As it was, Republican women were angry about Trump's position on abortion because, he made abortion so much more difficult. Vance is doing their party no favours whatsoever. I mean, why would you vote for a party that says, unless you've had a couple of kids, they've come out of your own body, naturally, you're somehow a subhuman member of our society? I mean, he also,
Brenda, used the words, women who don't have children as becoming childless cat ladies. And, yes, I mean, it's literally like prehistoric language. You think,
what he's implying is that they transfer their affection from other human beings to animals.
But let's take it just away from him at the moment, but just generally, Brenda, women in the workplace.
I wanted to put it back on him. He sounds like a very unfulfilled man and very sad. And he obviously needs some love. He's lacking.
I wanted to just expand it into how difficult do you think it is still, and when you were, when your children were younger, it's single mum. And do you think it's got any better? But it must have been a struggle for you, single mum and working. You're never out of work.
Yeah, I don't, obviously, up until Jamal and Tanisha were like 4 years old, I was a single mother. And when Jamal was born first, and probably about 3-4 months after he was born, I had to go to work. I didn't want to claim social security in that way because there was a stigma attached to that. Oh, you'll just go and claim, and it was a big thing. And all of my family, they all had full-time jobs. And so it was, I had my paper round first when I was 14, 15, and I kept that going. Then when I was 18, I went to college, but I had a part-time job and I kept that going. And then I had the children, and it was just a value for me. It was just important for me to do something.
But how did you manage that?
I managed by paying, like, 80% of my money. The sad thing about it, 80% of my money that I made went back on childminder fees because I didn't have anybody, to look after kids because I was in London. All my family are in Luton. And so I paid that. And I don't think it's changed. I keep saying that, more businesses should have creches for... It's not just women, it's for men as well, to give them that support. Because, a happy workplace, you don't have to make up excuses of, I've got to do this, I've got to go and pick up the kids. And I just think there needs to be more support. And this just sounds really archaic to me.
Yeah, I mean, Cole, did you take any break? Well, because you've worked since you were 5. But did you take a break when the kids were young?
No, I did, actually. So when I had the 2 boys and Jake was a baby and Shane was about 4 or 5, Shane, their dad, his career really took off. And I thought, actually... And he was saying, you don't really need to travel all around the country and that now. So I took 2 years off to be with the boys. And I absolutely, have to say, loved every single minute of it, although it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Absolutely hardest, thankless, 24/7 job ever. And then, obviously, when me and Shane split up, I had to go back to work. And I love my work. When Kira was 9 weeks old, that's when I went back to work after she was born.
9 weeks?
9 weeks, yeah. Oh, look at her there. And she's about 3 days older. And, yeah, I went back to work at 9 weeks. But I have to say that I'm bad because I have that guilt. I still have the guilt. I have it now, and they're all grown up, and I still have it. But I've had to do it. And Kira paid me a beautiful compliment the other day where she said, you know what, Mum? I'm really, really proud of you because you've done it all by yourself and you've brought us up and you've brought in, you know, you've kept us all going. And she actually said to me, you know, I want to become the woman that you are. And it kind of took a bit of the guilt away for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and Janet, what about...
where's my dinner?
You were a boss for many years. How flexible a boss were you when it came to women who'd gone and had children who were working?
When I was at the
you?
BBC, there was one of my key series producers who was absolutely critical to launching this new travel series. I couldn't do it without her. I thought of the idea for the show, but she was executing it, and she had far more people skills than me. So she was off to have her baby, and then when the baby was, I don't know, a couple of months old, she wanted to come back to work. I said, bring the baby in. The baby can be in the office. The baby's not crawling, she's not annoying anyone. Just bring your child back, because there were no crashes, exactly as Brenda said. And I just felt, as a female boss, it's the least I can do. I valued her company and I valued her input, and I didn't want to lose her. And that's what happens if you don't give women child support in the workplace, exactly as Brenda says. Why should they have to drive around or travel around before they get to work to put their kids somewhere, then go to work, then drive all the way back to get their kids? More employers should make creches in the workplace.
Yes, yeah, 100%. I mean, that is a question. What's happened to the workplace crash?
Yeah,
That
really big at one point and never happened.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know what you think about that one as well.